Act 2, Scene 2. Forest. Day. Eckenroy tests a crutch that Draunt has fashioned.
The shaft is hickory, cane for the lashing, flexible and tough.
I doubt it will be enough. Melsine elbows him. What? The constant current of comic remarks has grown increasingly obnoxious.
Where in the treeless marshes did you learn a skill so wondrous? Our islands have forests, lakes, even a few mountains. Nothing so grand as your hovels, brothels, and unnatural water fountains.
I should like to visit your home some day, friend.
Of course, Sir Knight. I will escort you myself, at the journey's end. Presently, hunger calls and the air is damp. You can test your new leg by returning to camp. We shall await you there with a stew on the fire.
Exit. Mane Eckenroy, who draws his sword and works through a series of forms. Melsine enters unnoticed and watches for a short time. Sensing her presence, he spins in her direction. Lady Melsine!
I beg a word before we retire.
You have a subtle step. I do not surprise easily.
It comes from approaching prey stealthily.
Is there need for stealth in this place of tranquillity?
Disuse wears away a wonted ability. I see my grandfather's art has helped you to stand.
A worthy crutch. He is a handy man to have at hand.
He has reason to keep you alive a while yet, as a hungry man keeps a hog for a pet. I am sorry about your lady and your friend, Sir Knight. No gentleman should have to suffer such an unexpected and unsavory sight.
At one time or another, Sir Guile has been a cheat, a drunk, and a womanizer. But in all our time together, I have never known him to be a liar. I have only myself to blame for my misfortune. It is possible, in hindsight, that I misjudged Gwendolen's virtue by a fair proportion.
One does have cause to wonder how you came to be with such a woman.
I saw myself as a guardian as much as a potential husband. I knew her only as a serving girl from the Sword and Sixpence, yet something in her bearing led me to believe that she was more than a simple tavern wench. I saw promise in her, the makings of a noble lady. I had no idea the extent of her
depravity.
Oh, yes, well,
how long were you...
I had known her the better part of a week before I embarked upon my quest.
From most men, I would assume that was a jest.
Forgive my comment for coming so close on the heels of calamities in which you were recently mired, but it seems to me, Sir Knight, that your choice of companions leaves much to be desired. I cannot gainsay your assessment, so egregious have been the assignments of my associations.
And yet the trail to your betrayals is bedecked with good intentions.
My mother taught me to approach others with an open heart. When she died, so died any further wisdom she had yet to impart.
I fear you are in need of a friend. I would attempt to rebuild the trust that others have trodden to dust, and apply myself to that end.
There is short supply of true friends in this world of wanton whims.
Truthfulness, though hard at these times to hear, is where friendship begins. So as your friend, I must add one more troublesome revelation to the list. I am compelled to apprise you of the peril this quest puts you in, should you persist.
Such is the service of one sworn to protect his people for as long as his blood does pulse.
I mean immediate peril. My grandfather has played you false.
Noble Drond? Do true people yet dwell in the world?
I am true.
So say you, as said others before the flag of their lies was unfurled. Perhaps I should place trust in those I perceive to be false, and reject those who seem fair.
I would dissuade you from reasoning with your heart, having recently had it laid bare. Or any time, if it must be said. The heart is a wondrous thing, but you really must try to think with your head. I will not presume to instruct you how to live, yet neither can I stand by and watch you die when salvation is within my power to give. For all your faults, you are a good man, honest, loyal, and true. And so, a secret I will divulge to you. I would not see you perish for pointless revenge, but rather live to a ripe old age. I tell you plain, the man we pursue is champion to a mage. Should you somehow overcome him, your life will be forfeit to the master he serves, and nothing can prevent a wizard from delivering what punishment he deems his enemy deserves. As much as it pains me to lose a new friend, I would rather you survive and our acquaintance end. You were unfairly coerced into this affiliation. Therefore, I hereby release you from your obligation. Grandfather will be furious at first, but I will stand for you, though he bellow his worst. It may be harder to separate the longer we wait. Now is the hour you should make your escape.
Escape? Already have I donned the mask of the dead. Through countless challenges, the carnage of combat, the defeat of a dragon, never has Ekenroy Carthagian fled. I will not turn tail now, bound to serve you as I am. I shall slay this churlish champion, and let the wizard take me if he can. If your grandfather wants me gone, so be it. May he delight in the sight of my corpse, should he himself live to see it.
I see now that you are more than a knight. You are also a fool, a stubborn fool. I should have listened to grandfather and let his aged wisdom rule. Why, in truth, would anyone slay a creature so majestic, so grand? It was not some noble deed in defence of your land. Hunting the dragon was a fool's errand, so they found the biggest one that they could bait. An abundance of stupidity was the real reason.
Monworm slaughtered my family when I was but 8. So happy we were when first the dragon came. A good omen said all, and hallowed be his blessed name. When the livestock began to disappear, we blamed the feral felines of the hills. When seen to prey upon our flocks, a lack of offering from our neighbors we attributed to our ills. We hid our herds inside at night, and he began to burn the barns. The fire he found addictive, and soon burned entire farms. The creature was a good omen, claimed the king, even as blackened bodies began to build, until at last even Cragmere could see how casually the dragon killed. Mother, father, brother, sister, their carcasses he left to rot. I buried them myself, 4 mounds of dirt in a field that time forgot. That night I vowed to take up the sword. The mask I wear is no punishment, but an earned and just reward.
The Tyrans do not fear death, but neither do we court it. I would ask you not to negate this note. You cannot afford it.
It is a price I pay gladly, having nothing to live for. To dwell in the darkness of death is the destiny of all, and I do not fear the door.
Stupid, stupid man! Be gone, you useless cripple! Your presence here insults me. You are rash, arrogant, simple. I lied when I told you why you should leave. The truth is, I detest you. That you can believe. I said you should go, so why aren't you leaving? Limp away. You won't find me grieving.
I shall make camp alone, if you wish it so. From now on I will follow behind, until I fulfill the debt that I owe. Melsine slaps him, then pulls him into a deep kiss. They break away as Drond enters. Melsine! The fire does not feed itself. Have you found the wood, or did you pass the task on to a wandering elf?
I desired to converse with Sir Ekenroy first, grandfather. You could have gathered the wood yourself if the delay was a bother.
If our young knight requires an escort to find the camp, I shall lead. The company of another adult will be just what he needs. The 2 men exit.
The knight is a fool, as any can see. But by far the bigger fool is me.